Welcome back to 5 Digit Films, the channel for all things amputee. So today I have something pretty special for you guys that I've been wanting to share and that I get a lot of questions about. So I ride a Harley motorcycle, hence the Harley shirt today. And I constantly get asked, how do I ride? So before we get too far into this video, I'm going to roll a clip that is from the day that I got my motorcycle back. So here we go. Hey everybody, I'm out here at Brandts Harley Davidson with Ben Shropshire, the service manager. The day has finally come. I'm taking my Harley home today. It's taken a little bit of modification over a couple weeks time. And Ben, if you would, go over everything that you and your team here did to get this done for me.
So we put a Rekluse clutch in, auto clutch, which he won't have to use his left hand, but just at all to shift gears. We moved his starter button, his horn button around, so he can still use his horn with his right hand for safety. Put his left turn signal up here on top, so he could use his right hand. Moved his volume from his left to his right. Cruise is still over there, so basically everything he needs to run down the road and be safe is all right here. And he's ready to ride his motorcycle, aren't you?
All right, yeah, heck yeah I am. So I just want to give a big shout out to everybody that's been involved in this process. It really made a big deal to me. You know, I normally wouldn't go through with something like this, but I wanted to thank everybody for donating their time, donating their money. I want to thank Brandts Harley Davidson for taking care of this for me. The crew here really did an excellent job, and my bike rides like I never lost my hand to begin with, almost even better than before I lost my hand. So I'm really happy, I'm really excited, and Ben,
Thanks, sir.
thank you, brother.
Absolutely.
All right, so as you can see in that clip, we kind of do a breakdown of what we had to do to make it possible for me to ride my Harley again. I feel like what we decided on was probably going to be the best possible way to do it and the most cost effective. And I'm really happy with the outcome. It allowed me to be able to ride pretty much just like I always did. The only thing is that as I'm controlling the bike, I'm actually using my hand more to control the bike than I am my hook. When I ride, I will typically wear my dual sight myoelectric prosthetic, which you saw in the previous video, or I'm going to be, especially if I'm going on a longer road trip like Sturgis, which is 1,200 miles from here, I will use something like my body-powered prosthetic, mainly because I don't have to worry about charging it. And when I'm out on the road like that, typically I'm tent camping, and the only time I can charge anything is while I'm riding. So what made this bike, or I guess I should say the biggest key component that allows me to ride, is the Rekluse auto clutch. That allowed me to get moving. I had tried to ride my motorcycle once before it was specially outfitted for me, and I mean, it worked, but not something I would suggest. It was very sketchy. I'm not even going to tell you how I did it. You can make your own assumptions there. So anyway, the Rekluse auto clutch was the key component for allowing me to ride. And before that, I don't want to tell you how I did it because I think it's very dangerous. If you go over to my other channel, Area 52, you actually get a short clip of me riding my CBR F4i crotch rocket and get to kind of see how I did it. But again, I'm not going to tell you. Without the proper setup on your bike, I don't think it's safe. Now, some of the other components that allow me to ride as effortlessly as I do are the handlebars. That would probably be the second biggest thing for me. The old bars, or the factory bars, kind of come back toward me and slant downward at an angle, whereas my new taller handlebars. They're more at shoulder height and they point straight out. So one of the things that helps me a lot there is that I can just hang my hook from the bar and it doesn't want to vibrate off. The factory bars, the hook would vibrate itself off. Now what I can do is turn my hook, open it, and clamp onto the bars. But the thing I don't necessarily like about that is if something were to happen, I'm not sure if I could let go fast enough. And in other situations, I might need that control. So it's kind of a catch. But one of the things that I do with the bars being more straight outward is I will open my hook and then I will put the bar through like this. So I can push and I can pull and kind of give me a better degree of control without permanently fixing myself to the bike in a way where I might not be able to let go with my hook. That seems to be about the best system I have for riding my Harley with my prosthetic and gaining the most control from it. This was all made possible by my friends and my family. I could have raised the money, I could have got the parts, I probably could have done the work myself. But where this all actually stemmed from was I was at the hot dog stand one day. I want to say it was in early May, if not late April. And it was just after, well, probably a month after I had gotten my prosthetics. And we had just started getting some nicer days, probably in the 70-degree range. In Indiana, you only have 4 to 6 months of riding weather before the snow starts flying. So we just started getting into the nicer weather. I'm at the hot dog stand with my girlfriend at the time, and I see motorcycles going by, and it's just eating me alive. So I kind of vented on Facebook, made a post, and I said, hey, anybody want to donate $1,000 to me so I can buy a Rekluse clutch? And I was just messing around. Like, I didn't actually expect anybody to be like, oh yeah, I'll buy that for you. It's kind of like one of those like, dang, I just saw a nice Ferrari. Anybody want to give me $250,000 so I can go buy one for myself? Something like that. Like, I wasn't expecting charity. I never expect charity. But my friends, family, and people of the community would not take no for an answer. They start commenting and they're like, yes, as a matter of fact, I would pay for that because I don't want you to not be riding your motorcycle. They knew how important it was to me. And I replied, I said, no, guys, that's not what this post was about. I was just messing around. I will get it done myself eventually. It'll just take some time for me to financially recover from this because, as you could assume, I was off work for quite some time because of my accident. So I said, I'll get it. Don't worry about it. So then they told me to make a GoFundMe. Again, I declined. Well, then they made a GoFundMe. And in like 48 hours or 48, 72 hours, something like that, they had raised enough money and also got the local Harley shop, Brandts Harley Davidson, on board with the idea. I am actually friends with the service manager at Brandts, and he said, tell you what, if you get the money raised, I will do the work on your bike. And if you ride, especially if you ride a Harley, you don't want just anybody working on your bike. If it's not you, it's got to be somebody you really trust. And that guy was somebody that I really trusted. So when he got on board and the money got raised, I was really excited. I went from probably not being able to ride my Harley for several months following this initial instance to it was going to happen really fast, and it did. Like I said, within 72 hours the money was raised, and I think later that week I brought my motorcycle. Well, I didn't bring my motorcycle. Actually, the service manager, Ben Shropshire, he came to my house and picked up my motorcycle, rode it to work, and they started working on my bike. And like I said, they got the Rekluse auto clutch, they put the 14-inch handlebars on it, they relocated the turn signal, and that's about all they had to do. Now granted, there was a lot of time wrapped up in this. The whole front fairing of that bike had to be completely removed. The clutch isn't too bad of an install. Most people with some basic mechanic skills can do it. The handlebars, you can mess some things up in there, because as I said, the entire front fairing had to come off. But while they were there, they were actually able to do the wiring to move my left turn signal from the left side of the bike to the right side. Because Harleys, if you don't know, they have a turn signal on each side, so you never have to move your hands. The buttons are ergonomic. They're right there where you need them. They're thumb buttons. So now my turn signal is actually on the top of my right side controls. So as an amputee, especially my experience, this was the first thing, and so far the only thing that I can think of off the top of my head. It's definitely a major thing that had to be adapted to me. Pretty much everything else in my life up to this point, I have made adaptations to be able to do. My Harley, that was mostly a point of safety. Like, I had to be able to safely ride the bike. And with my girlfriend, I wanted her to be safe on the back of my bike too. So I needed a higher degree of control while riding my motorcycle. And that was the biggest thing. You know, I definitely don't want to get in another accident and further mess up this body that I have left. So if this is something happening to you, I want you to understand, just because you get injured doesn't mean you can't ride. That I have a whole other YouTube channel about that, Area 52. That whole channel is dedicated to an amputee who won't give up on his life. You shouldn't either. I don't care if you've got a full body, never give up. The only way to go is forward. Otherwise, you're just going to get stuck and you're going to have an unhappy life. If I can do it, you can do it. Don't be afraid to lean on your friends and family. You know, I'm not one to take charity, not by a long shot. In most cases, I'm the guy helping other people out. I'll give the shirt right off my back for just about anybody. But that's why the community rallied around me, is because they knew if it was any one of them, I would do the same thing for them. So they wouldn't take no for an answer. They actually told me, you know, Bobby, you would do it for us, so we're not going to take no for an answer. We want to see you ride because we know you would be there for somebody else in this community if they needed it. And that meant the world to me. Because of them, I was able to ride to Sturgis that very same year. The same year that I got my prosthetics for the first time. The same year that my Harley got outfitted so that I could safely ride it. I rode from Indiana to Sturgis, South Dakota, and even Wyoming and back. All because of them. Lean on those around you that love you. They understand. They will help you out. And at some point in your life, if you're able to repay them, do it. But don't be afraid to take help from others in a time like this. It's actually extremely important that you do. So that's all that I have for you guys for today. I just want to share that with you. Coming up in some of my other videos, I'll have similar things like this, activities that I do, and I'll kind of break down how it is that I'm able to do these specific activities. It kind of fringes on what I do in Area 52, but I want to kind of explain the technical side of things. I'll do a similar video in Area 52, but I'm not going to get as technical, and that's the big difference between these two channels. This channel is more technical and information. That channel is more me doing things. So again, if you guys want to know what I'm doing in my life and how I'm doing things, jump over to Area 52, check it out. You know, if you like it, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, put some comments in my videos and tell me what you guys want to see me doing. And if you like this or you have any questions, as I said, I know a little bit about outfitting a motorcycle for an amputee now. So if you have any questions about that stuff, if I can't answer it, I can probably put you in contact with somebody who can. In the description, I've put a link to Brandts Harley Davidson. I've put a link to LA Choppers, the maker of my handlebars, and I've put a link for Rekluse auto clutch. So go ahead and check those guys out. And as I said, if I can't answer your questions, somebody from there can. Now, granted, the manufacturer of the handlebars probably isn't going to know a whole lot about amputee riders, but just to give you guys some examples, I've seen some amputee riders out there. Actually, I have a friend who also rides and also works for my prosthetic company, so I had a big leg up there. But he's missing his right hand, so he actually got some taller bars and had to switch a couple of his controls around. But since he still has his clutch hand, it made it a lot easier for him and made his adjustment a little bit differently. Hopefully I'll actually be able to get him on this channel for an interview, and maybe I can get him to talk to you guys a little bit about his setup. So that would be really cool, and that's something to look forward to in the future. So until then, guys, it's been great talking to you. I've got a lot of good information coming up in future videos, so stay tuned for that. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, go ahead and drop them down in the comment section. And if you like this video, feel free to give it a like. If you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I don't want to be that guy pushing my channel, but it does help me, guys. So you know this. Anyway, have a great day, everybody, and we'll see you in the next video.